Welcome, curious minds, to Alternatify, the channel where we twist the fabric of reality and explore the profound implications of a world reimagined. Today we embark on a thought experiment so fundamental it might just redefine your understanding of modern existence. What if the internet, that ubiquitous invisible force shaping nearly every aspect of our lives, simply never happened? Imagine a world where the digital superhighway remained an unbuilt dream, where the global web of information and connection never spun into being. What would our world look like? How would we live, learn, and connect? Prepare to delve into an alternative history where the very foundations of our society are built on different ground. Let's cast our minds back to a time before the digital dawn, to the 1980s and early 90s. This was an era defined by a slower rhythm, a more analog existence where information traveled at a different pace. News arrived with the morning paper, or perhaps the evening broadcast. Communication relied on the tangible, letters sent through the postal service, or conversations held over landline telephones. The world felt larger, more distant, and certainly less instantly accessible. Information flow was a deliberate, often delayed process. In this landscape, traditional media outlets held immense power. Newspapers, television networks, and radio stations served as the primary gatekeepers of information, shaping public opinion and setting the agenda. Their influence was profound, their reach extensive. Yet even then, alternative voices found ways to emerge. Zines, independent newspapers, and community radio stations offered diverse perspectives, often challenging mainstream narratives. They fostered niche communities and provided platforms for underrepresented voices. Physical spaces were paramount for information and community. Libraries stood as grand repositories of knowledge, their shelves holding worlds waiting to be discovered. Bookstores were sanctuaries for ideas, and record stores buzzed with the energy of shared musical passion. These were vital hubs, places where people gathered, browsed, and connected. Social interaction was inherently more personal, more immediate. Face-to-face conversations were the default, supplemented by phone calls and handwritten letters. Relationships often developed through shared physical spaces and sustained effort. This pre-internet world offered certain advantages. Community bonds often felt stronger, forged through shared local experiences and direct interaction. There was less information overload, allowing for deeper engagement with fewer sources. Privacy was a given, not a constant battle. People had more time for reflection, for deep thought, unburdened by constant digital distractions. Expertise was highly valued, as finding reliable information required effort and trust in established sources. The pace of life felt more deliberate. However, this world also had its limitations. Information access was significantly restricted, often limited by geography or economic means. Communication was slower, making rapid global collaboration challenging. Geographic limitations meant that opportunities and connections were often confined to one's immediate vicinity. Global awareness was less pervasive, as news from distant lands arrived slowly and selectively. The potential for misinformation, while different, still existed, often amplified by the limited number of information gatekeepers. Correcting false narratives was a slow and arduous process. Now let's project this reality forward. What would the 21st century look like without the internet? Communication would remain rooted in traditional methods. Social media as we know it would be absent, fundamentally altering how relationships form and evolve. Dating experiences would revert to face-to-face encounters and personal introductions. Information and education would be profoundly different. Access to knowledge would be limited, relying heavily on physical sources like libraries, encyclopedias, and textbooks. Learning would be more localized, with traditional classroom settings remaining the primary mode of instruction. The concept of instant global research would be alien. The business and economic landscape would be unrecognizable. E-commerce would not exist, meaning all transactions would be physical or conducted via mail order. Businesses would remain largely localized, with slower globalization and traditional marketing methods dominating. Supply chains would be less efficient and market reach more constrained. Politics and governance would operate at a different speed. Information would spread slowly, giving governments greater control over narratives and public discourse. Political campaigns would rely on rallies, print media, and television. Grassroots activism would be harder to organize on a large scale, requiring immense physical coordination. Culture and entertainment would be consumed differently. Music, movies, and television would be distributed through physical media and broadcast channels. Art and cultural trends would remain more localized, with slower global exchange. The concept of viral content would be non-existent. Science and technology would progress at a significantly slower pace. Reduced collaboration and data sharing among researchers worldwide would hinder breakthroughs. The rapid dissemination of scientific papers and findings would be impossible, slowing the collective advancement of knowledge. Health and medicine would also face challenges. Telemedicine would be absent, limiting access to specialized care for remote populations. Access to health information would be restricted, and medical research would advance more slowly without instant global data sharing and collaborative platforms. Even warfare and security would be fundamentally altered. Cyber warfare would not exist, shifting conflicts back to traditional battlegrounds and intelligence methods. Reliance on physical communication and intelligence gathering would define national security strategies. In this unwebbed world, several distinct scenarios might emerge, each with its own blend of promise and peril. Consider the Golden Age scenario. Here, strong community bonds flourish, nurtured by constant face-to-face interaction. Life moves at a slower, more deliberate pace, with a greater focus on local economies and relationships. Polarization might be less pronounced, as echo chambers are harder to form without instant global amplification. Conversely, we might find ourselves in an information control scenario. Without the internet's democratizing effect, governments and corporations could exert even tighter control over information. Censorship and propaganda could become more pervasive, shaping public opinion without widespread challenge. Surveillance, while perhaps less digital, could still be potent through traditional means. Then there's the technological stagnation scenario. Innovation might slow considerably without the rapid exchange of ideas and collaborative platforms. Access to advanced technology could be limited to a privileged few, widening the digital divide, or rather the technological divide. Global collaboration on grand challenges like climate change or disease would be severely hampered. Another possibility is the localized world scenario. Globalization would be significantly curtailed, leading to more self-sufficient communities and economies. Local cultures would thrive, perhaps becoming more distinct and less homogenized. Travel might be less frequent, and international understanding could be more challenging to cultivate. Finally, imagine a neo-Luddite scenario, where a widespread rejection of technology takes hold. Society might emphasize manual labor, a closer connection to nature, and a simpler way of life. This could be a reaction to the perceived complexities and stresses of even pre-internet technology, leading to a more agrarian or craft-based existence. Despite these profound differences, one constant remains: human adaptability. Our inherent capacity to connect, to learn, to create, and to thrive would persist, even without the internet. We would find alternative ways to bridge distances, to share knowledge, and to express ourselves. Certain human traits would endure, perhaps even flourish. The power of genuine human connection, forged through shared physical experiences, would be paramount. Creativity would find new outlets, perhaps in traditional arts or local innovations. Our resilience would be tested, but ultimately, we would find ways to overcome challenges. The pursuit of knowledge, that innate human drive, would continue, albeit through different avenues. In this unwebbed world, we might rediscover certain values. The slower pace of life could lead to a greater appreciation for simple pleasures and meaningful interactions. We might learn to truly value the present moment, unburdened by the constant pull of digital notifications and endless feeds. The art of conversation, the joy of a shared meal, the quiet satisfaction of a good book, these might become even more central to our existence. Reflecting on this alternative reality, it becomes clear what immense benefits the internet has brought. It democratized information, making knowledge accessible to billions. It fostered global connection, allowing people from disparate cultures to interact and understand each other. It empowered creativity, giving voice to artists, writers, and innovators worldwide. The internet facilitated social movements, enabling rapid organization and widespread awareness for causes. It accelerated scientific progress by enabling unprecedented collaboration and data sharing. It transformed entertainment and education, offering endless possibilities for learning and leisure. E-commerce revolutionized how we buy and sell, creating new economic opportunities. And it built countless communities, uniting people around shared interests, regardless of geography. This thought experiment, this journey into a world without the web, offers profound takeaways for our present reality. It urges us to practice mindful internet use, to be intentional about how we engage with this powerful tool. It reminds us to value real-world connections, to prioritize face-to-face interactions and genuine human relationships. We should actively seek diverse perspectives, moving beyond our digital echo chambers. Protecting our privacy and fostering a healthy online environment are crucial responsibilities. While acknowledging the internet's challenges, we must also appreciate its immense benefits and embrace its potential for future good. Ultimately, this exercise underscores the enduring human element. No matter the technological landscape, our fundamental needs for connection, knowledge, and purpose remain. The internet is a tool, a powerful extension of our capabilities, but it does not define our humanity. So, what are your thoughts? How do you imagine a world without the internet would truly unfold? Share your insights and speculations in the comments below. If this journey into alternative history sparked your imagination, please like this video, subscribe to Alternatify for more thought-provoking content, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. And if you have ideas for future what-if scenarios, let us know. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep imagining.